Hey, V Gates, how's it going, guys? Just wanted to give you a quick update here on kind of like a preamble to the battle we're getting ready to do, which is northern France. Germans are starting to do some counterattacks after D-Day, and I stumbled onto something today. As many of you know, I use Army Builder, which is a program that I use for my my Kings of War, my Flames of War. The problem is the two books that I showcased the other day are not on the new uploads. They're not even in the thing, and this is the flaw of this Army Builder program. This guy that runs this company does not pay people to get in there and constantly keep updating new army lists for the various games that are out there. He relies on volunteers to contact him and upload and somehow get in, and I know this whole thing's hokey. So I'm pretty kind of down on Army Builder. I went in there was some lists. They were taken off of some of the old books, the old battle books, which you really can't use in a lot of these tournaments, the newer tournaments. They give you a list of the books you can build from. And of course, these two books were not in the Army Builder program. So I went to search for another program to build my German and my American Army list with the 1,420 point limits. And unbeknownst to me, I'm not on the Flames of War website a whole lot. Flames of War on their website has a new Army list builder that for the most part is free. You just have to establish it, create an account with your email and such. I would say about half of the lists out there, at least 1/3 of the lists that have been published are there for free. And they do have some, like you can purchase an entire Army book worth of lists for anyone that's in that particular Army book. Let's say in this case Blood, Guts, and Glory. The German and Army lists are in there for like 25 bucks. You can get all of the lists downloaded or unlocked, as it were. Or you can just buy individual Army lists for what they call the battle briefing, or the briefing for, say, Panzer Grenadiers on, let's say, Blood, Guts, and Glory. You have to pay $1 for. Or you can buy all of the lists that are listed in the book for 25 bucks. It's kind of your choice. If you kind of just want to cherry pick lists that you want, you just pay the buck. And I think that's really reasonable. I think it's great that really 30% of them. And the great thing about this is these are from the company that makes the game. It's not a third party, so you know the lists are legitimate and you know that you can take them to tournament. Here's the other thing I'm going to show you real quick, the lists that I built. Both of these lists were free. They were two really good lists. I think the program works really well. It's a lot better than Army Builder. So if you're out there and you're doing what I did for several years, which is taking out a sheet of paper and a pencil and getting out the Army book and writing down the list and all the things that it comes with, you don't need to do that anymore. Go to the Flames of War website and they have an Army list builder available to you. So this is what we've got here. I've got, my first list I built was the, well, I have it listed here as the Tournament USA, which is my Tournament USA Army. For, as you can see here, it gives you your point readout, 1410, so I'm below the 1420. It's a tank company, and you can see here it lays out what I call a pick list. And see, what I do is I have my bags stationed over here, and I have a pick list. So this is what's great about this this program, is it gets it so that you can have your pick list. So I need 2 Shermans for the company HQ. I need 2 sets of 4 Shermans for my 2 separate platoons. I got 3 Stuarts for my light tank platoon. Then I wanted to play with this kind of like a little fun thing here. Try to get the glare off that Slicky page I use to keep my my pages protected. I got a parachute rifle company, kind of like Saving Private Ryan. So we got a group of them, a Fearless Veteran rated. It tells you what to pick: command rifle team, a bazooka team, 4 rifle teams, and 1 60mm mortar team. And I'll right on down to armored rifle platoon. It even tells you the number of half tracks. I've got anti-aircraft machine guns on 2 of them, and I got pack 250 cals with anti-aircraft machine guns. Okay, so I got 4 half tracks. I got a mortar team. I got 2 light machine gun teams. I got 3 bazooka teams. So I kind of upgraded this this armored rifle platoon, and it allows you to do that in the program. It's really simple. It's really easy. You're really going to like it, and if you've used it before, I'm sure you'll agree with me. I did take some air support. We got some P-47 Thunderbolts. I'll show you here on the table in a minute, and it's a priority air support, which the 7 means that I get to start off with 7 dice. Okay, now the next list I created with this program, and you see how nice they print up. You can do black and white, or you can put them in this nice color. They get a nice border on the edge. Here's my pick list for the Germans. Panzer Company, it's a tank company, and I called this, and you can name your list, because you can save the list, of course, Last Ditch SS Crew, because I love to play my SS troops. This is a Panzer IVs. I couldn't bring Panthers. Now they do allow you Panthers, but for the cost to keep it with the 1420, and this list ended up becoming 1400 points. You know, I went with the Panzer IVs. They're a really good matchup against the Shermans. So about the equal number of Panzer IVs it worked out. It's an even match as far as the numbers of tanks. And then, like I said, we're trying to get more infantry on the board. So with this list, I got 2 Panzer Grenadier platoons. Those of you who know me know that I love my Panzer Grenadiers, especially when they're SS. So this helps keep them as Fearless Veteran, which helps me out being a late war list. And it tells you what to pick. Alright, now here's the other cool thing. On the back side, for the second page, it's going to give you all of your stats. How cool is that? Panzer IV tells you everything you have. It does this also with the any army you build, or any list you build. It's got your front, your rate of fire, everything you need to know during the game, and they have the special rules. So I tell you, this was amazing that I stumbled onto this today. That way we know the lists are legal. You can't go to tournament and someone's going to say, oh, you're not allowed to bring that. That's not legitimate. And then here's how we have it laid out as an initial deployment. This obviously isn't the final deployment, but there's the 4 half tracks of the Americans lined up there on the road. And I figured we'd play it from this side to this side, since it's kind of going to be like the Americans have this possession of this town, which we could say is, you know, some small little town outside of Bastogne, maybe northwest of Bastogne, and this is leading up to the Battle of Bastogne. We got your paratroopers right here, a contingent of paratroopers. These are your regular infantry. You know, I color code my regular infantry. Is something I started doing a while back, a few years ago. My regular infantry is blue. Then I got my heavy assault weapons are red, which would be the bazookas and the light machine gun teams. And then I've got a 37mm cannon, and we have a light mortar team. So it's kind of a good way of kind of just glancing at the board when you're playing and seeing what's what. Now the question that the American player, and I haven't decided whether I'm going to play Americans or Germans on this against my son, but the decision needs to be made by the American player. Are they going to occupy some of these buildings with the troops? Obviously you probably will want to. There's no sniper team in this team, but you could probably put a light machine gun crew up into that turret that's above the city building. We got our platoon and our command team, which are Shermans. And you know, I haven't played much with the, we played some with the Stuarts, but I just love these little Stuarts that become anti-personnel tanks. You know, this would be a good opportunity since they can go so far so fast because they're light tanks. You know, maybe doing a flanking maneuver down here to this bridge. And I'll show you kind of what the Germans have, which is, you know, that's the great thing about when you stick to point values and you're building strict lists off of the tournament rules and on the website. It really gives you the flavor of how it would have really gone down in real life. And then there's your P-47s, and this is obviously I purchased these back when you could still get the pack of 3 aircraft. Now they just give you 1, so that was good that I picked up some kits early. So that's kind of the American force. It's a nice relatively small battle, which I'm kind of looking forward to. We always play these big battles that can take, you know, up to 3 hours to play out. Something like this we're probably looking at an hour, hour and a half maybe. And I'm going to go over here, I'll show you the German forces. Now I haven't played Panzer IVs in a long time, and it's kind of nice to pull them out. You notice that some of my Panzer IVs I kind of went ahead and did a desert scheme so we could use those for desert North Africa battles. It doesn't really matter. And I mentioned before in this board we're eventually, it hasn't been done yet, but we're going to flip this board over and do a desert board on the other side, which is sand. And then we can do some North Africa. I just need to build some North Africa terrain. I do have some North African buildings, and we could do some North Africa battles. We haven't really gotten into any of that yet, so that's something we can look forward to. This is what we're looking at. It's kind of the classic German Panzer, SS Panzer group. You know, you got your half tracks being supported by the Panzer IV group. We got the command team here, which has the Scherzen on the side of their Panzer IVs. And then there, over there, next to my beer, is the inhabitants of the half tracks, which are your standard Panzer Grenadiers in their camo. I love the Panzer Grenadiers. And here's the other battle group. We got 3 half tracks supported by 4 Panzer IVs. So it's not a whole lot for the Germans. There's no artillery, there's no air support, which happens a lot in the late war with the Germans, especially in France. And so it's going to be really interesting. And here's kind of the lay that the Germans are going to be looking at. Are they going to deploy down here? Are they going to divide their forces? Are they going to unite their forces? Again, this is not going to be an objective battle. It's going to be simply going at each other and seeing who can kill the most of each other. And getting to the point where they break with command or there is a motivation failure. So the troops basically stop fighting and basically retreat. So that's kind of how it's going to go down, guys. And really excited about this battle. I'm just kind of how I like to do it is I kind of let it sit here for a couple of days. I'm going to be back at work again tomorrow. So when I come down to the office in the mornings, I'll glance at the table and start to get some ideas on strategies and really start to study the layout of the board, which is half the game, is how you lay out your board. So hope you guys have a good one, and hope you enjoy. See ya.